The first couple of changes are going to be legislation we're going to be moving through the Financial Services Committee this summer. One dealing obviously with stablecoin legislation. We've been at that for a couple of years now under the leadership of former Chairman McHenry, who's now left Congress, and now Chairman French Hill. And then, of course, our market structure legislation to create the regulatory framework for digital assets overall, to actually have rules to the road where you have regulators understanding what their purview actually is, and unlike what was happening with Gary Gensler, just making up your purview as you go along because that's how you see that industry. So I think those are steps one and two for making Bitcoin, as the president talks about, the making Bitcoin the United States the Bitcoin capital of the world. You have to address the regulatory environment. You have to create a clear regulatory system when it comes to stablecoins in particular. That will feed the engine for people to bring more investments into the United States, and then that's how the United States will become a true leader when it comes to digital assets.
But is all of that legislative effort, Congressman, and it's great to have you on the program again, complicated by the conflict of interest questions around President Trump, knowing he has a meme coin and attended a dinner last week with investors in said meme coin, that DJT, the media company that literally bears his name, is raising money so that it can buy Bitcoin. Does that add a complicating factor to any kind of bipartisan effort in advancing legislation like that when that's giving Democrats a lot of noise to make?
No, I don't think so. There's a lot of Democrats on Capitol Hill who do realize that digital assets are here to stay. Bitcoin is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And so it's time for the United States to actually take the necessary steps forward to fully embrace digital assets. And so I think what's going to happen is we're going to move that policy out of the House. There are going to be Democrats, in my view, who are going to support both packages in the House, and you're going to have Democrats in the Senate support it. I think what you saw, and I think Democrats saw this by and large with how they acted towards the digital assets industry under the Biden administration. And, if you're here on the conference, it was soundly rejected. I think people here understand that you have to have clear rules to the road. You can't have regulators just picking and choosing how they're going to look at digital assets. You simply can't. So I think that, to your question, I don't think that's going to matter at all. We're talking about an industry that it really has the potential to be $1 trillion industry here in the United States. And not just to talk about the guys who are doing big things, whether it's Coinbase or any other company that's out there. Talk about the little guy, people who are getting in at the bottom of this industry, who are finding an opportunity to really build a company, really build wealth. That crosses party lines, it crosses demographic lines. And so we need to lead on this and not be afraid of talking points or other things that are going on.
But as we consider building wealth, what if all of this effort directly leads to further building the wealth of the President of the United States? Do you not see an issue there, Congressman?
Look, I would tell you that a rising tide lifts all boats. If Eric and Don are doing things in their personal capacities, that's fine. And that's all well and good. That's America. I don't think people should be told that you can't do business in our country. I will actually, to be blunt with you, it's better that these things are actually out in the open for people to know and to see, as opposed to what was happening under the previous administration, where they were hiding how the family was making money. They were hiding it from everybody. They were lying to the American people. The president, President Biden, or the auto pen, whichever one you choose, had to do preemptive pardons. That stuff is ridiculous. That's outrageous. What we're talking about is regulating an industry in a proper way so that industry can thrive, it can grow, people can invest, capital can be raised, and people, whether you're at the top or the bottom, can get in. One of the things that I'm so excited about digital assets is that when we finally get the regulatory environment settled, you can do things like fractional exchanges, where people can buy a fractional piece of real world assets or a fractional piece of companies going forward. So if somebody doesn't have, $50,000 to their name to invest, and they might have a couple $100, they might have $5,000 under a fractionalized tokenized exchange, you can invest in that. That helps people grow their asset base. It helps them grow themselves financially in our country. That's a good thing. We should celebrate that.